So guys, I came across a video of Dele Farotimi where they asked him a question. They asked him if he will still support P2B, and he said that even if election is to hold today, that he will still support P2B. That P2B is like the best among other people. Like P2B is the exceptional leader that we need in Nigeria. And again, a video of P2B, I want you to take a look also, where P2B gave reasons why Nigerians should vote him come 2027. Take a listen first. I'll take it in a minute.
Are you still with Peter Obi? Do you hold similar notion, or what do you make of that kind of situation where he thinks what is going on in the Labour Party needed a firm and a very, very strong handling, but he didn't see that that Peter Obi was able to handle that situation the manner in which he did. Are you also disappointed with what is happening in the Labour Party?
Let me say this. What is happening in the Labour Party is, for me, the noise next door. I'm not a member of the Labour Party, and I have labored to make this clear before the election, during the election, and after the election. I have not concerned myself with what is happening in the Labour Party. Kenneth joined the Labour Party, so it was his business what was happening there. It's none of my business, and I have not made it my business. I'm not a politician. I am a citizen of a country that is not yet born, a victim of Nigeria looking to have a better country in the future. Peter Obi is a man that I admire a lot. I don't expect him to dictate what should happen in the Labour Party. When did he join them? The Labour Party is a party. It's not, I believe that if it's a party, to an extent, they would have to find a democratic means of resolving their differences. Peter Obi is not in a position to dictate the terms of their settlement to them, and I don't expect him to. Obviously, Kenneth Okonkwo has a different understanding of what Peter Obi's response should have been. He is a politician, just like Peter Obi is a politician. They are the ones who decide what political tactics works for them as politicians. Me, I'm not a politician. As of today, if there were to be a presidential election, Peter Obi is the person I'll still queue behind, because I believe in his capacity to take Nigeria in a non-violent manner to the revolution that I desire. I wish to see Nigeria turn around, and I don't want to see that happening violently. And I believe that Peter Obi has the mass appeal and the capacity to unite this country behind a vision for a better future. That is the basis. As at today, I don't know what he might do tomorrow that might change my mind. I'm a free agent. It might be that tomorrow he decides to align himself with persons that I do not believe I can work with, people that I believe cannot bring anything good to Nigeria. And on account of that, I might decide, okay, hasta la vista, we can't work together. But as at today, barring any dramatic happenstance, I remain solidly behind Peter Obi, and I will continue to support him into 2027 if he's going to run, and if we have managed to reform our electoral system. Because any election without a reformation of our electoral system, I'm not interested.
I mean, Kenneth Okonkwo went as far as saying, for 2027, Peter Obi, Bola Tinubu, Atiku should move aside.
Like,
or use, or you are of the opinion that 2027, you are of the opinion that 2027, Peter Obi should realign or go back to the ring and still throw his hat and run again for president. That's your opinion, and that's your stand, isn't it?
Let me put it this way. Peter Obi did not lose the last election. Peter Obi won the last election. INEC and the judiciary performed their magic.
The president that is there today, how many years has he stayed? 2 years. And you could see where we are. Look at the turn of things in 2 years. That means that you can change things in 2 years. If I was there in 2 years, Charles, that you would have seen considerable change. In critical areas, I would have tackled corruption head on. I would have reduced cost of governance. And you will see it. People will feel it. And those monies invested in critical areas. Our primary health care today, I told you, 70% are not functional. And we spent over 35 billion in conference center. Which conference? Who is coming for the conference? You need to invest your money properly. Just you have been seeing borrowed money invested in critical area. We, a country in Bangladesh with 148,000 square kilometers of land, is producing about 60 million metric tons of rice. And us, with over 6 times that size of land, cannot do 10% of that. You talked about devaluation of Naira. There's nothing wrong in devaluation. I would have done something. I would have allowed the Naira to float. But I would have done it in an organized manner. There will be productivity. The idea of devaluing your currency, allowing it to float, to be cheaper, is that you have productivity so you can export, so people can come and buy. But when you don't have productivity and you devalue your currency, it's double whammy because you have nothing to sell. So I would have injected money in productivity. Today, nobody is producing anything. Somebody told me a few days ago, said, oh, they've removed there's no more tax or this, or some of the manufacturing inputs and everything. And all. I said, that's no. How can you manufacture? How can you do business when your interest rate is over 40%? One of the biggest costs of manufacturing today, cost of production today, is interest rate. Just nobody borrows money at over 40% to do a business that is straight. You can only borrow, it's only government that is borrowing that amount of money at that cost. So you need to do the right things, and you can do it.
Are you going to stick with the Labour Party, given the disarray that's in the party?
The disarray is caused by government.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter who caused
No, that's what I'm telling you.
Yes. Are you going to stick
I'm in Labour Party. I'm in Labour Party.
And are you going to stick with the Labour
Well, I'm there because I'm there. It's not something I can tell you now. I am there today. And as time go on, Charles, if it changes, I'll tell you. But I'm a member of Labour Party. And these are one of the things I said I would do. I will make sure that parties work. I will protect democracy and make it work.
Some would say Labour Party isn't working under you.
No, it has nothing to do under me. I'm not the one running the party. Charles, I've been involved in all this. If government today is democratic and they want democracy to thrive, all these things will work.
Right.
Put me anywhere.
So you can only make the change if you're president.
I've told you, Charles, I saw this we had a problem under Yaradua, for example, in my party. He told it in front of me, he told the INEC chief, I don't want all these party issues in front of me. I want it to happen. I don't want all this. So you have to say you're democratic, practice it, believe in it, whether it favors you or not. Because that's what you want. You want to build a better, decent society that is organized. Whatever realignments, whatever coming together, we must discuss the future of this country. We're not just going to, I'm not going to be part of just wrestling power for power's sake. No. I want to know that we're going to do this in order to be able to invest in education, invest in health, invest in pulling our people out of poverty. How can a country with this size of uncultivated land not be able to feed itself? Somebody who made dollar at 300 and something, 400, is now 1,005. Charles is done fantastic. Same in fuel, same in everything, same in unemployment, everywhere, in terms of democracy, in terms of everything, is in on the sliding side. And that is doing well, because that's what he promised. When you talk about improvement, there are not things you say. There are things people feel. There are things people see. There are things that, it's just like when you talk about I've listened to people say jobs are being created. Where are the jobs? You know, if you talk about job creation anywhere in the world, you see the figures. If you talk about improvement in education, you see it. Improvement in health, improvement in this. If you say the government is now doing the right thing, the democratic, the this, you will see it. You just mentioned River State. So where is it? So we can see it. It's not a question of going to say, oh, investors are coming back. Where are the investors? Where are they investing? Companies are closing down. They're leaving. Local companies, manufacturing is going south. So where is it? Nigerians are not saying it. I am one politician that moves around in Nigeria. And I know the feeling of the people.
Yeah, but what about prices in the market? I mean, there have been some, maybe not enormous reductions, but there have been some significant reductions, even in fuel, for example, petrol prices. I mean,
where did we start?
They've fluctuated a little, but they've come down.
Charles, where did we start? We started at about 200 to over 1,000, and now it's slightly below 1,000. You have to look at where we started. You didn't just say, oh, it's coming down. No, where did we start? What has changed? Consider the income of the average Nigerian. Those who are fortunate to have a job. What it now tells them if they're buying fuel. Let's take fuel subsidy, which they say there's huge savings. Where is the savings being challenged? If you are making a savings, you said, I want to save this money to be able to invest where? You have to invest in critical areas of development. And those critical areas of development are education, health, and pulling people out of poverty. Are we investing in it? This country has universal basic education. And we have over 20 million children out of school. That is the critical area. It is the basic education that is the critical area. We're not doing anything in it. Just today, I visited an IDP camp. There's over 40,000 people in IDP camps around Abuja. I'm not talking outside Abuja. The one I visited is in Abuja. With over 4,000, they don't have a primary health care.
4,000 or 40,000?
Over 4,000.
Right.
40,000 around Abuja. But 4,000 in this particular facility.
Right, okay.
They don't have a primary health care. They don't have a primary school. They used to have a primary school, which was there by UNICEF. It's closed down for the past 3 years. The kids are there. There's no primary school. There's no health care. So, if you don't have that in Abuja, where do you have it? Where? And this is the one you said is free. Free and compulsory. So where are you investing the money? You have said, I'm removing this. You have to sacrifice. You have to suffer. Where are you investing it? It has to be clear. It has to be verifiable. It has to be visible. People have to see it. They have to feel it. Well, I have said it and I maintain there's no democracy in Nigeria today. Nigeria today is not a democratic country. Let's stop telling ourselves lies. If you look at all the tenets, look at all the yardstick of measuring democracy, it doesn't exist here. Simple definition, democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. Today, the government we have is not of the people. It's not by the people because the people didn't vote. It wasn't their votes. I'm not just talking about presidency. Across the line. Look at what happened in Edo. Can you call that democracy? It is not vote of the people. And it's not for the people. I've just told you that I went to an IDP camp where we have thousands of people, no primary health care. They were begging me to have one nurse, which I said I must make sure I bring. They don't even have primary school, which again I told them I will make sure it happens. So what are you doing? For a country that just spent 21 billion naira to renovate a house for the vice president, which is not, hasn't packed in, is not living there. And you cannot even have a primary school for kids who are going to be leaders of Nigeria tomorrow. For people who pass through the same process, tonight deny these kids this opportunity today. So it is not a democratic country. So it's not for the people. You can't have a democracy without a functional and effective legislature, which you know we don't have today. You can't have a democracy without, again, an independent judiciary that fights for the common person. I can go on and on. In a democracy, it is clear. There's guidelines. Even when you set for people vying for election, like in Nigerian case, you have to talk about people must be qualified. They must have primary school, secondary school, university, and must attain certain age. Charles, that is not happening today. People are with unverified, forged certificates all over the place, criminal records and everything, and they're in charge. So you cannot say that. It is, yes, maybe we're striving to be a democratic country, but the way we are today is not. Look at what happened in Rivers that you mentioned. Can you call that democracy? There's no freedom of speech. And you know that yourself. And I can tell you, and there's so many people who are being detained in one place or the other because they've made one statement. When you go for an exam and you score 10%, it's a fail. I'm just giving you the real measure of democracy. We failed in all of them. So it doesn't exist. You know where we're headed. It will get worse. And when it gets worse, we're now going to threaten to a state of nature, of anarchy, where anybody can do anything you want. Everything is collapsing. Even when the people who are supposed to be seeing it are not seeing it. But you can see the negative impact in all the critical areas, even the education you mentioned, when you said people are being given scholarship to go to school.
Student loans.
Student loans. What is happening in our universities, Charles? Our universities now are politicized, where appointments for management of universities are now political. You now fail local government election, you are appointed on your university board, university governing board, where vice chancellors, they even have been appointed without merit and everything. And the consequences that you see universities now giving honorary degree to all manner of character of people. It is not about me. I'm one with the people. They can say anything they like. You know, when you are in government, you claim anything. But I deal with the reality. The reality is that things are headed south. Go and check all indices of development anywhere. I've told you what is improving. Is our literacy level improving? Is our health condition improving? Even them that are in government don't even go to hospitals here. So that shows that it's not even improving. The same thing goes. Are people being pulled out of poverty? There's still hunger everywhere. Is the agricultural produce increasing? Is manufacturing increasing? No. So where is it? The first thing you can say that you have a government is security of life and property, rule of law. These are intangible assets that you cannot ignore. It is critical. People go where there's law and order. Nobody goes where there's chaos. Where do you see the rule of law? You are here. You don't need to. I don't need anybody to tell you. You see it every day. You cannot take the action that have been taken in Rivers State for what happened. There's a clear path to dealing with that issue. Rivers State, for the past 2 years, have become ungovernable for obvious political reasons and interests, which shouldn't be in a democratic environment. It's clear, it shouldn't be. I have been a governor, and I have left government, had issue with the person who had replaced me, with my successor. But for God's sake, the state is far more important than anybody. We have a governor who have been sworn in as the governor. He should be allowed to govern. What happened in Rivers State is very unfortunate and is impacting very negatively to the little or remaining inkling or democratic space we had. He eroded a lot from there. So, as for intimidating the governors for 2027, it shouldn't be. The governors are going to seek re-election. You're going to seek re-election. You're going to seek re-election based on what you've been able to do, your performance. On Nigerians, the governors just have one vote. It is because of what I told you that it is not a democratic country that you are trying to intimidate the governors. It's because it's not a democratic setting. Very unfortunate. That's why I said there's no functional legislature. So before I go into the opposition, there were, even in the House of Representatives, a particular Labour member did everything possible to ensure that the right thing was done by ensuring that it is not a voice vote, that is a vote that must be properly recorded. Because he said no opposition, at least from Labour, at least, and there were others like that, they were shouted down. Even at the Senate, there were voices like that, like former governor of Bayelsa State, former governor of Sokoto State. There were voices. The Nigerian political space was designed not to have opposition. Opposition doesn't exist here, Charles. If you want to look at where opposition exists, you compare us with other countries with similar trajectory. People have called me and said, look at what the oppositions are doing in South Africa. Look at what the oppositions are doing in other similar countries. But let's just use South Africa, which is, of course, the biggest economy in Africa today. And what they are doing, they have presidential system, but have been able to have a system that allows opposition to exist in their system. You cannot have opposition that is effective unless you have proportional representation in the legislature. If you don't have it, you're wasting your time. If you look at South Africa today, as it is, just check their election in 2019, ANC won 57.7% of the vote. They had 230 members. 2019, they had 40%. They had 160 members. While Democratic Alliance in 2019 had 20%, they had 80 people. In 2024, they had 21 plus, almost 22, they had 87 members. And that is The same thing for all other parties. And their leader is a member of that parliament. And you cannot cross from one party to the other, as you can do in Nigeria, without consequences. Once you cross from one party to the other, you lose your seat. Just even in the environment you know very well, the UK, you cannot have somebody from one party cross over to the other party without any consequence, without anything, and all that. So you have a system that works. And nobody's going to allow your member using contract, using this and all that, as is happening here. So it's a difficult thing. That's why we are clamoring that we must now change this constitution. We must now build a viable system. People have asked me, Peter, what are you going to do if you were there? I will make sure that this country is democratic. I will make sure that the opposition thrives by ensuring that I direct whoever and put all my own resources in terms of office to ensure that parties function the way they should. Today, they don't do that. You just have people doing all sorts of things in terms of, as I said, there's no democracy here. We need to fix it. Yar'Adua started doing it. He was sworn in here as the president, and he said, I will not allow the process through which I came to office to continue. I was a beneficiary of it, Charles. I had a free and fair second-term election. And that's what it should be. But instead of now having it growing the way you think things will be, we've taken 300 degrees reverse. I'm one person who is very reluctant at talking about 2027. I'll just probably gloss over it. Because we have a critical situation, Charles, where we're not addressing it. We have a country where our debt in 2015 is between 15 and 17 trillion. Now we have a country with a debt of 150 to 170 trillion. A country where our cost of debt servicing is now higher than our critical areas of budget for critical development, education, health, pulling people out of poverty. And we are discussing 2027. Elections are won, elections are lost by the vote of the people. All these things you're talking and all these things people are talking is because we are not democratic. Charles, we are talking of working together for the sake of the country, not because of political posts. I've said it before.
But if you don't have political power, you won't be able to change the country.
Charles, agree with that. That's why I've always said, I'm not desperate to be president. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. Charles, it is all these alliances, all these groupings that brought us to where we are today. Because people were blinded. Instead of seeing what they would do to make the country work, make the country productive, they were focused on wrestling power. What are we going to use the power to do?
A bit of Dele Farotimi got me worried because he said something. He said that if eventually in the future P2B allies himself with criminals and with other cronies of politics in Nigeria, that he will support him. But the coalition is consisting of Atiku, El-Rufai, which we all know what they've done in the past. I'm not saying that criminal, but we all know what they've done in the past. And also, Atiku have been suspended from SDP, I think, for 30 years. So that means Atiku have no other plan than to join the ADC. But for Dele Farotimi to say what he said, that means he might have seen something. Because this coalition is looking as if it's a distraction to P2B. Because Atiku is not a person that we can trust. Because Atiku, we've known Atiku for years. We know what he's capable of doing. And then them now coaliting. But I think P2B is wise because P2B is still in LP. That means P2B have not fully joined ADC. So P2B is not actually in the coalition. He's just observing, going to meeting, observing, knowing if it's a good choice or not. But the truth remains that I don't think they will will P2B the ticket in that ADC coalition, because the Northerners will not allow P2B to become the flag bearer, because they gave P2B a chance. They told him that he should either run as the vice to Atiku or forget about the ticket, which means that it's better P2B to remain in the Labour Party or look for another party, because both PDP is not really a good plan, a good choice, because of person like Wike. Wike is in PDP, and we all know that P2B is that Wike is working for APC in PDP. That means he's going to make every effort to see that P2B does not either get the ticket in PDP or that P2B does not get any votes in the next election. So this is actually a game where P2B have to think through, because right now as if all odds are against P2B. Yes, LP is against P2B, ADC is against P2B, PDP, Wike is there, and Wike can be trusted. So it's as if all odds are against P2B. But I believe that P2B is a wise man. He is a politician. He has been there for years. We all know what happened in Anambra, where he was impeached for 1 year and then later came back. We all know. So he's been there before. So you should know what to do. You can't tell him what to do. He should know what to do. Because he has the interest of Nigerians at heart. So, but let me get your views in the comment section. I'll be in my next video.